If you were generating millions of dollars for other people and not getting paid anything in return, would you be upset? That's what college athletes are doing every single day when you see them on TV. And I believe that they should be receiving some kind of benefits. For starters, according to ESPN.com, NCAA generated over $900 million just last year across all sports. And they say, and bottom line, scholarships are not enough. That's $40,000, $50,000 a year for just their school. They're not taking care of anything else. They can't receive anything else. So scholarships, bottom line, are not enough. I'm also going to talk about, why basically there's not very many people anymore, but why they should be, the other side of why they shouldn't be getting paid. So I'll talk about that a little bit. And then there's always a debate on who should get paid if they were to get paid, because there's a lot of sports, and not every sport makes money. So as I said before, in 2015, the NCAA generated $900 million, over $900 million. This was mostly football and men's basketball. And some of the other sports cost them money. So obviously, I'll get to that later about why they shouldn't get paid. Just to give an example here, UW Athletics on the Badger site, they generated over $149 million in revenue from football only last year, just football. So that's a season that goes 3.5, 4 months. They generated $150 million. The head coach, Paul Chryst, received $2.3 million salary last year. So he's getting compensated quite nicely. Every other player on that team, nothing. Some of them get scholarships. Some of the guys who play a lot, punters, kickers, some backup players that get in when other players get injured, they're getting paid nothing, and they might not even have a scholarship. So they're actually paying to play football and put their bodies on the line every week and make money for somebody else. And playing football, especially at a Division I school, is a full-time job. I know in high school, you'd practice 4 hours a night. In college, they do the same thing. They practice more than NFL players do. They have 2-a-days before the season starts when school's actually started. They practice a ton. College basketball the same way. They travel a ton. They have 2-3 games a week. Sometimes they're in other countries. They play on holidays. And bottom line, it's not enough to just give them a scholarship for all the time they put in. They don't have time to go get a part-time job to make money. So they need to get paid. College, and there's no CBA or union all the pro sports have unions, so that's how they generate how much they can practice and whatnot. And NCAA doesn't have that. They can practice as long as they want, when they want, and there's basically not very many rules to stop that. I mean, that's just how it is. And bottom line, when they say they don't get paid, they literally cannot receive anything at all. A couple years ago, a lot of people remember the Ohio State scandal. Coaches were fired, players were suspended, revoked scholarships, and that ended them. Right? That ended them. They fell off the face of the earth because they signed some autographs and got paid for it. Right? I'm a Wisconsin Badgers fan. I like that seeing them get suspended, but hey, in reality, what they did was not that bad compared to other scandals we've seen on TV about other colleges. So, they need to be able to read something. And the other side, which is shrinking every year, I feel like a lot of people I talk to, they say they're students first. Correct, they are students first. But they also are there to play football or basketball. They're only there because they're not allowed to go in the pros anymore right out of high school. That's why they're there. And college basketball plays several games a week. The Badgers, sometimes they'll play one game at home in Madison on Tuesday. Thursday, they'll be at Penn State, which is in Pennsylvania, across the country. Saturday, they're back home. Got to practice in there. You got to travel. I mean, and you're supposed to be a full-time student too. I mean, it gets tough. And how are you supposed to make money? There's no time for a part-time job in there, right? So, another thing that just, I think, bugs a lot of people the most is if they get hurt, they can actually take the scholarship away. And they're out there, star player tears his ACL, right? He's done for the season. He might never play again, maybe. They schools say, okay, we're going to take your scholarship away, we're done. We're done, right? And that's not right. They don't do it as much as they used to, but it still happens quite often, and right, it's not fair. And then, who should get paid? This is probably when you're talking about athletes getting paid, this is the biggest debate. You can get in a whole other debate about equality and whatnot between men's and women's sports, but in my opinion, the people that should get paid are the people that generate the money. That is football, that is basketball. I was reading on Bleacher Report, a lot of sports cost schools money to have them. And football and basketball keep them up and running. You know, all the smaller sports. So, who should get paid? People that make the money. I mean, it's not that hard to me. I'm not saying they should go out there and get paid millions and millions of dollars, get a $300 million contract like so we see some of these baseball players getting, but they should be able to live comfortably and not, like, they're basically in poverty while they're going to school because they absolutely have no money and they have no way of generating money. So, you know, let them sign some autographs and get paid. What is that hurting? I'm not saying they should, like I said, $20 million of salary. That's not going to help anybody, but receive something. All right. And so today I talked about how the NCAA makes millions, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, nearly $1 billion last year. Well, the players received nothing. Mark Emmert, the president of the NCAA, read online, he's making millions of dollars a year and he does nothing. He does nothing. They do absolutely nothing. The NCAA is just, they're government, they're essentially the government of college sports, and they do absolutely nothing. So, scholarships are not enough. Bottom line, that's what people say that they're students first. Well, if they're students first, why are they putting all this time into sports? And then who should get paid? Football and basketball. They generate the money. That's how it works. And bottom line, at the end of the day, athletes should be getting paid for generating so much money for other people.